Hey guys, it's me. It's Queen Aset Haru. And I wanted to talk to you guys about something an Aries woman said to me. She wants to know if the elements are the problem with her cheating Aquarius. This is her question. And I'm going to tell you all about this right after this introduction. Hey, I'm Queen Osedaru once again, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and pass it on to somebody else who might like it as well. And if you have time, please drop us a positive comment in the comment section. And stick around to the end of the video because I'm going to read and respond to two of my favorite comments from previous videos, and one of them might be your comment, or it might be something interesting, because a lot of these comments, the ones that are my favorites, are usually pretty sweet or pretty interesting. So if you would like to get a reading done, please email me or hit me up on social media. All of my information is underneath this video. Now let's get into this. So this Aries woman, I love Aries. I really, really do. Because some of them are really, really sweet. And I love their energy, that passionate fire energy I like a lot. But she is blaming the elements for her Aquarius being a cheater. She said to me that maybe it's just his airy nature, because Aquarius is an air sign. So she said maybe it's just his airy nature and it's just the elements, And I just felt strongly that she was making excuses for his bad behavior and blaming it on the Zodiac. And I'm like, yeah, being an air sign does mean that you're in your head a lot. Let me tell you about air, those of you who don't remember. Air is about thoughts, okay? Air is about thoughts, is represented by the swords in the tarot deck, and that's all about what's going on in someone's mind. So air signs, Aquarius, Libra, and Gemini, have the tendency to be all in our thoughts. We have the tendency to get lost in our thoughts. I know for me, I could sit around thinking and writing and reading and just lost in my thoughts for hours. For hours, okay? I'm very self-soothing. I don't really need to talk to another person. I can be by myself for days and not even realize I haven't talked to another person. That's that airiness. We fly off into the stratosphere, fly off into our thoughts, fly off into our concepts and causes. It's very common for us. So that is true. We are in our thoughts and things like that. And air signs have a tendency to be, some signs call us a little colder, a little more distant than the other signs. And some of us are. That's a true statement. And Aquarius is known for being aloof and detached. So I'll give you that. But just because he's an air sign doesn't mean he has to be unfaithful. Okay? That's where the logic breaks down. Because I've been in serious relationships with women for many, many years. I'm trying to remember my first real relationship with a woman. I think ever since I was in my early 20s, I've been seriously dating women off and on. Just sometimes I don't date anybody like right now, but I've been seriously dating women exclusively and seriously since I was in my 20s. And I will say that I never had a problem. I never had a problem being faithful to any woman. Never. I never had that. It never crossed my mind. It was never a problem. It was never like, oh, I can't see myself being. Infidelity didn't come to my mind. And if her rationalization made sense, then all air signs would be uncontrollable cheaters. All of us would be so cold and so detached and so in our mind that we just could never be faithful. And that's not the case. I know plenty of Aquarius and other air signs who are faithful to the person that they're with. As a matter of fact, if you're an air sign and you're faithful, please give us a shout out. in the comment section so my girl can see how many of us there are just in this little grouping. If there's even one, then her theory doesn't stand up to scrutiny. And I am that one, and hopefully it's some more of you. Because you can't just say, oh, because air signs have this, distant, aloof thing going on, they're automatically going to cheat. That's not true. And I said this in another video just now. I'm taping all these videos at once. So one of the videos you're going to see either before this one or after this one is about cheating. And it's not about Aquarius and cheating, it's just about cheating in general. But I explain in that video that a person who's going to cheat is going to cheat regardless of anything else. I don't care what their sun sign is. I don't care nothing about that. It doesn't matter what their sign is. It doesn't matter what their socioeconomic class is, their gender. None of that matters. A person who's going to cheat is a cheater because simply they think it's an acceptable thing to do. It doesn't matter what their zodiac says. If they think it's acceptable to cheat, and if you don't do anything about it and let them cheat, if you go along with it or ignore it. A lot of people turn a blind eye or ignore infidelity. When people do stuff like that, that just further encourages the cheater. So his element is not the problem. The problem is homeboy ain't got no integrity. That's the problem. Because if he had integrity, he would tell you he's not interested in a monogamous relationship, and he would let you make your own decisions, and y'all would go from there. But if he's cheating and then you're looking at his chart saying, well, he is an air sign and they're kind of aloof, they're kind of detached, you're making excuses because you're hurt that he's cheating. That's really what that is. So you're trying to find a way to justify it, because otherwise, a lot of women, a lot of men sometimes too, will blame themselves. So what I'm saying is that number one, it's not your fault. And number two, it's not astrology's fault either. It's his fault. Somewhere along the line, he got the message, like a lot of people do, that infidelity is funny or infidelity is okay. When I was growing up, and some of you guys might remember this too, when I was growing up and a person was cheating, it wasn't seen like a moral thing. It was seen like tea. Like my cousin or one of my friends or, somebody we knew in the neighborhood might be like, yeah, I'm going to go see my other girlfriend. And everybody be like, oh, it would be that kind of vibration. It was like, like it was tea or something like that. But nobody ever looked at it for what it really was. It's a lack of integrity. Because you promised someone that you would do a certain thing, and now you're not doing that certain thing. Even if you didn't verbally promise that person and that's their expectation. That's why I always tell people to talk about the type of relationship they want before they get into the relationship. So that if you're a person who wants to be in an open relationship, you can talk about that before the other person gets the expectation that you're going to be monogamous, or vice versa. So I always tell people to talk about that up front. But it's basically a lack of integrity, because you've told them or given them the impression by your actions or non-actions that you are going to be in a monogamous relationship with them, instead of just telling them, nah. When you meet them, you could just tell them that's not my thing. And I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to play games with you and lie to you and run around. I tell women who and what I am up front. And if they choose to pursue me, then that is their choice. If I say something that turns them off, then they have the right to go meet another woman. Give a person give them their ability to choose for themselves what they want to get into, because you'll be very, very surprised. A lot of people will be willing to get into relationships with you, and you'll be sitting there like, wow. When I first started to believe in telling the truth, when I started going through priestess training, I started learning, okay, the truth is important. I'm going to tell the truth. And instead of telling women whatever I was going to tell them, I would be honest with them. I'd be like, okay, this is where I'm at. This is what I'm doing. This is how I think. This is how I feel. And it was very rare that they would be like, nah, I'm not with it. Most of the time they was like, okay. And it was no problem. I never had my windows busted out. And I would see multiple people. I could be talking to 2 or 3 women at a time, but they all knew that I was not in a commitment with any of them. That was understood. So if that changed, we would have that conversation. If I wanted it to change, we'd have that conversation. But they knew the truth. So it was never like they could say, oh, you deceived me. You didn't tell me. You said you were going to do X and you went and did Y. They never could say that to me, because what I told them I was going to do, that's what I did. So it's not the element that is wrong with this Aquarius man. It's a lack of integrity. And I guarantee you, he's probably always been a cheater, because he's probably never seen anything wrong with it. And will he stop? Will a cheater stop cheating? Someone asked me about that. A cheater can stop cheating. I was a serial cheater and I stopped cheating on people. It's up to the cheater to see that they need to stop it. But to be honest with you, almost every cheater that I know personally is still cheating. I don't know not one cheater who was faithful. They might have been faithful here or there, or for a certain amount of time, or with a certain partner, maybe for a little bit of time. But every cheater I know is still currently cheating. It's very rare for a person to say, you know what, I'm going to change. It can happen, but it's rare. So if somebody cheated on me, I would leave them alone. I would never trust them to be faithful, because they've already gotten away with it once. Why stop now? So I would never trust them to be faithful. It's not a relationship I'd be able to stay in. I think some people do find their way. I know a lot of couples who have gotten past infidelity, and they do it in a number of different ways. Most of them use therapy, and I think that's probably the best way to do it. But for me, I would never trust that person again. And I know myself, so I wouldn't even go down that road. Tangela Slayford has a comment for us. Tangela said, I also have one of those aunts I blocked. Yeah, sometimes you gotta block them. I'll see you at the family reunion, I don't have to see you on Facebook too, I'll see you then. Sometimes you do. If you have those aunts or those uncles or those, people that come on your page and they preachy, I have 2 pages. I have a page just for my family, and I have a page for my friends. And the page for my family is separate because I can't be myself. They're all, you got people talking smack. People get angry by statements that you make. All kind of stuff goes on. So I put them on their little family page, and we talk nice over there. And me and my real friends and my real conversation go on over here, So I can be myself and talk about what I want to talk about and not have to worry. I remember at one point in time, every time I talked to my mother, she was talking about something on my Facebook page. And I wasn't posting anything. I don't post anything that's really that crazy. So it would be like a meme or a joke or something like that. And somebody, one of the family members would call her, one of her sisters or one of my cousins. I think it was one of her sisters, because my cousins usually don't really give a shit. But, one of them will call her and be like, oh, your daughter did this, or your daughter posted that, or your daughter said this, or blah, blah, blah. And it might be just a meme or a joke or something like that, they took out of context. So after it happened the last time, I was like, you know what? This is the last time. And I took all of them off my Facebook page. I deleted every last one of them. Everybody that was related to my mother, any family member that any spoke of the wheel, they all got deleted. And I created a separate Facebook page, and me and them are all out there. It's 100 and something of us. And because my grandmother had a lot of kids, so that we're all out there, and the people I really talk to, my real conversation and the things I really post are on the other page, the main page. So sometimes you have to separate church from state, just to have some damn peace, or use your block button like she said. Edwina London. Hey, Edwina. Edwina said, I look back at my bluntness and cringe. Oh, sometimes. Like you said, I'm working on it. Yeah, sometimes I do remember things I've said to people, or sometimes people tell me my response to something from 20 years ago or something like that, or like from high school, and I just cringe like, oh my god, I can't believe I said that. But the bottom line is that when you know better, you do better. At that point in my life, I didn't realize how important it was to talk to people in a certain kind of way. I didn't realize that it's important to care about people's feelings. I didn't realize it was important to be considerate. I just thought, I'm going to keep it real. I'm going to say what I got to say. And if they don't like it, they ain't got to talk to me. You know, that was my attitude back then. And a lot of Aquarius have that attitude. And I understand it, but it's really not appropriate because you're in a partnership with the other person. It's just not, yo, all about me. This is me. You're in a partnership. So you got to be considerate of them. You got to think about them. You have to, be loving towards them, be supportive towards them. Is especially if it's somebody you care about, and even if it's just somebody you don't know, a cab driver or somebody at a store. You still, when you deal with people, you don't want to walk away from them and them hate you or have a negative interaction, or you gave them an awful day or something like that. That's not what you really want to do. You want to spread good energy where you go. You want to spread good karma, and good karma comes back to you. So I did not understand that before. And also, like I said, a lot of the people that I talk greasy to was my loved ones. It's one thing to talk greasy to somebody who getting on your nerves or somebody in the street, but it's also another thing to talk greasy to your significant other, your child, your mom, your brother, your sister. It's really best to be as considerate with those people as possible. You don't have to lie to them or feel like, I can't be myself, but sometimes yourself is abusive. Sometimes it is. And you have to peep yourself and be like, damn, I could have said that kinder. So yeah, it's a work in progress. Edwina, as long as you're working on it, that's what's up. The universe will keep giving you opportunities to work on it too. So do the best that you can with your lessons. That's all we can do. Okay? All right, guys. Come back soon because I got a lot more to say. See you later.